Listen, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. We get to the news in a bit, but we always have a little bit of a warm-up chat first, don't we, Mark?
Yeah, we do, darling.
We like to...
We do, Nadia.
We're not like the news, where you're straight into the misery of the news.
Sometimes
we
I quite like it. Sometimes I quite like an injection straight into the eyeball.
But we like to know how you're feeling. We like to tell you how we're feeling.
Now, the other day I tried to do a competition to see how many names I could get in a row. So I'm going to go. You've got to time me until I stumble. You ready?
Okay,
so I'm going to say hellos. I'm going to say hellos, and at the point that I stumble, you stop the clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Hang on.
She's got. Look, it's at 13 million days. Stopwatch.
Go.
Ready? So, hello. Brenda McGee, Nicola S, Sally Griffin, So Unique, Hazel Malbon, Xavier Tansley, Someone Somewhere, Sally O'Sullivan, Denise Nelson Gale, Catherine Boomer, Sleepy Moo, Anita O'Reilly, Jenny Matthews, Janine Amory, Brenda McGee, Helen Groves, Vicky Edwards, Jared Cardona, Julie Neary, Felicity Cook, Heather Westgarth, Marie Swift, Gabrielle, Sharon Hilliard, Samantha Hayward, Tony Dunsford, Julie Neary, Charlotte Roberts, Library Pictures, Xander Gibb, Areti Lorraine, Sally Griffin, Jenny Lever, Emma McGregor, Julie Neary, Sarah Jane, Library Pictures, Richard F, Samantha Hayward, Louise Keynes, Glitterknickers, Stacey Allen, Lucy Kitson, Katie Merricks, Lisa Dilmeck, Juniper Grace, Alison Fisher, Emma McGregor, Sarah Davies, Nikki Fulton, Debbie Harris, Jan, Deborah Learmouth, Library Pictures, Ashley J, Rachel Louise, Emma McGregor, Gladys Green, Elsa Pop.
Well done.
48 seconds.
Well, it was actually 47.
All right,
I was still looking. Oh, but that'd be boring for people.
That'll be fun.
Okay.
On your marks, get set, go.
Sally O'Sullivan, Sleepy Moo, Felicity Cook, Lucy Kitson, Hazel Moborn, Lucy Loxton. Do you know what?
7 seconds.
No, it's just because I can't actually see. Let me start again.
Hang on.
Let me start again.
Let them come in. Right, everyone, you ready? And go.
Happy birthday, Sarjit Clark, Deborah Holdsworth, Fiona Cormack, Brenda McGee, Becky Hicks, Donna Pearson, Beryl McNally, Yvette Briggs, Becca, Annie Blue, Deborah Holdsworth.
Paused, you paused. You did 12 seconds.
But I couldn't work out how you stop it jumping so fast.
That's part of the skill.
Oh, I don't think I have it.
You don't have it. Woof, woof.
Good morning to everybody. Good morning.
Can I just quickly say a thank you to Sharona for our cards, and a huge thank you to Sue Gilbert for our lovely Saving Graces, a collection of inspirational
Such a lovely
thoughts
book.
and images. There,
It's
look
such
at that.
a lovely book.
Really,
Thank
really
you. That's
sweet.
really
Thank you so
kind.
much.
But
Very
don't
kind.
send us presents, naughty people. You can
The
send us
cards are
cards.
lovely. That's lovely. And thank you, Sharona. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, Nads, what are you wearing today?
Well, I'm wearing my yoga clothes. I
Why
haven't
is
changed
that,
yet
Nadia?
because we did yoga today, and Mark was fucking hilarious.
What was the move we did that for any good man...
So the move was lying on your stomach, putting your arms behind your back, and getting hold of your feet and pulling them up. Because we were on the floor down here, and the computer was here. So our lovely yoga teacher Rachel was watching us on the camera, and she said, "Yes, lovely," and like no tension at all, no tension in your face. And I turned around, and Mark was like this, literally. This is what I saw from the side.
Well, because there's a certain part of a man's anatomy that prevents that from being
my
done.
my boobs were
Yeah,
bursting.
but you're coming off. You're coming off
but
the
I
floor.
was lying.
Yeah, but the fulcrum, the focal point of where your body's pivoting is against your.
And he
puberty.
whispers to me, "I want my penis."
I've crushed my penis. I literally pretzeled my penis.
Oh God, it was so funny.
Sorry. Oh look, Sharona, off to my first tattoo on 2021 in a couple of hours. Do you mean
Maggie's
your first? Do you mean your first tattoo, or do you mean a tattoo as in a gun show? Do you remember they used to call it?
Of course she doesn't mean that.
Do you mean cannons?
Mark, she means a tattoo.
Do you mean no? But I always thought it was so strange. It used to be on the telly. Do you remember when we were kids? It'd be like royal tattoo, and I'd be thinking, is the Queen getting a tattoo?
Oh yeah, I know what you
and
mean.
they'd roll out all these guns and they'd shoot stuff.
It was
Why
confusing.
was it called the tattoo? Sharona, what are you getting? Nanny Di's got a tattoo on her hip. She's got a lesbian sign. The two female signs interlinked. Edinburgh tattoo. That's it, Carol Titmers. The Edinburgh tattoo.
Kim Blanton had a lovely swim this morning. Did you do wild swimming? There is a park not too far from us now that has a wild swimming pond, and I am going to go in it this year.
Hi, Katie Merricks.
I'm going to start doing wild swimming.
Are you?
Yeah, I really want to do it. I think it will be so...
Can I vlog
apparently
it?
It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing for
Do you do it
your
naked?
immune system. No.
Oh.
You're looking weird.
I don't want to film it now.
Oh, Kim had a pool swim, but she'd love to wild swim. Did you swim outside? We've got 2 big outdoor pools, haven't we?
How big?
We've got Tooting, big.
When we used to do a series,
Tooting,
can I just
Lido
say
and Brixton Lido. And Jesus Christ, when you get in there, you think you're going to have a heart attack.
We used to make a kitchen makeover series years ago called Kitchen SOS, and every time we'd always go and visit really impressive dream kitchens, and we had a montage in the edit suite that the editors had cut together that was just Nadia as she walks into any new kitchen. Oh my God, it's huge! Look at the size of this. It's enormous. Wow, how big! I mean, that's all you ever talked about.
It's true.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, did you film the yoga for the vlog? Would love to see that. Now, Wonder Woman, I'm glad you said that because I'm always saying that to Mark and he can't be bothered.
It's not actually can't be bothered. I can be bothered with everything in life. I never use the line can't be bothered. That's not me. It's not in my DNA.
You go, nah, it's too much
No,
fuss,
no,
too
no,
much
no.
faffing about.
No, I
I said
don't.
you can fast forward it. You meant, nah, too much faffing. Mark, don't.
No, what I say is, it's disrespectful to the yoga teacher.
Oh, Rachel won't mind. I'd say to her, Rachel, do you mind if we film ourselves doing the yoga?
I don't
She
know.
wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I'm always mindful of the
Oh,
other
God,
person.
Sally Griffin. I used to go to the outdoor swimming ponds in Hampstead Heath. I wish I wasn't so far away as to love it there.
Why
I've
don't you
got
just go
such
to the one
happy
in-
memories.
I filmed Jo Brand at the Tooting Lido. She had to do a freezing
that
dip.
Lido.
She had to do a freezing dip.
No, I'm gonna go to the
What I
pond.
liked about the Tooting Lido though is you've got the original Victorian changing rooms all around the edges, which is really nice. All the different coloured doors.
Oh,
And then
it's
you
all
get
that
in-
wet tissue paper on the floor. Oh, no. Oh, God, it makes me just cringe.
They get very busy, don't they? I found a photo of me diving naked into a river in the mountains of California, which obviously Neil had taken, and I'd never found it. I found it in a box. All you can see is my bum and you know the other bit that I crushed this morning as I'm flapping through. As I'm flying through. Hang on. And I remember landing in the water, and it was so cold, and I'd had 2 broken ribs as well, and it was so healing.
It's very, very healing. Broken bones mend quicker when you go in the cold. Has anybody watched that octopus documentary? When the swimmer there, he talks about the cold and how you become addicted to it because you feel so alive.
Yeah.
I can kind of get that. I've always leaned towards cold water swimming.
They do it a lot in St. Petersburg.
I just think it's really good for you.
Our Eskimo did it in the Arctic. He drilled a hole
Eskimo.
and he
It sounds
dipped
like
in.
you had your own Eskimo that you
We
kept in a
did.
shed.
We did. Johnny, I'll never forget
loved him.
Johnny.
You loved
We
him, didn't
connected so much. Anyway, we digress. Nadia, I want to get your take on India. Let me give you some context.
Right,
So
no, I
people
would
are
love
saying-
to give you my ideas on India.
But the feedback coming through at the moment, Lee isn't good with the cold. I tried doing cold showers once, and it's just not for me. Apparently it's great for your mental...
I tried to do one the other day.
Apparently it's great for your memory.
Brilliant for memory, brilliant for depression.
Mm.
Because that guy in the octopus film, he was actually very depressed when he started, wasn't
But
he?
he was quite depressed at the end as well.
Yeah, he was a strange man.
He is a very strange man.
But we loved him.
There's a scene of great
very
intimacy. I mean, purely platonic, but it's very deep, isn't it?
He's just a feral man. He's one with nature.
He's an optimist. He's an octopus man. He's an octopus man. I can't stand being cold. Note to the cold, says everyone. Right, so India. So the
Wonder
government...
Woman did cold swimming and it triggered her period.
Oh, Christ. Okay.
Was it the shock of it, Wonder Woman? That's funny.
There still hasn't been a press briefing, says Rhys Roberts, to address the Indian variant. So the Indian
There's
variant...
one today. There's one at 5
Almost
o'clock.
straight after Coffee Moaning yesterday, Boris Johnson cancelled his trip to India. He obviously watched Coffee Moaning and realised we weren't too happy with him. And is it too little, too late?
Well, it's too late, but thank God we're actually doing it. It is so infuriating. Did anyone watch John Campbell last night?
At 4
It was
a.m. on Friday, though.
All the way through this pandemic, we have been reactive instead of proactive. You know, and again, he was saying, look at Australia and New Zealand. We had that choice. If we'd stopped those flights from China, we wouldn't be in a bloody pandemic like Australia and New Zealand aren't. This will hold up everything if this takes hold. And he was outraged yesterday because he said, what's her name? Sarah. What's the woman that comes up quite often with Chris Whitty? Is it Sarah?
I don't know.
You know, the one with the glasses.
Yeah.
But anyway, apparently he was furious yesterday, John Campbell. He was saying that she was saying, we need more data. He said, what data do you need? It is escalating in India at such a rate. The transmission is definitely faster than previous variants.
With all due
And
respect,
they are in a terrible state there.
we reported the Indian variant about 5 or 6 weeks ago because it first broke
in America.
California as being outside something.
No, like the first few days ago, it was 77 cases. Last I heard, it was 110, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, isn't it? He said, John Campbell, if this gets community transmission.
But but can I just reiterate? This is the lunacy of the situation. So not only are we using a sort of chocolate frog. I don't know what that phrase is when you use a sort of. It's like nailing a jelly to a wall. Not only are we stopping flights to India, but guess what? Chocolate teapot. That's it. Yeah, chocolate frog's a willy, isn't it?
Chocolate frog.
I don't know.
Chocolate frog isn't a willy. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I'm just saying random
why
shit.
do you keep saying willy so
Because
much
there
on
is
this
one.
live?
There is one.
Just carry on.
No,
and
what is
don't
it?
say it again.
What is that? So right, they're stopping flights, but not until 4 a.m. on Friday. 900 people came from India yesterday.
Because it's like the woman from Border Control was saying a couple of days ago on the Andrew Castle show. She was saying, the thing is, as soon as the government, it's happened every single time, she said, with these dangerous countries, as soon as the government announces you've got 4 or 5 days, you get multiple flights coming in packed from front to back as everyone tries to avoid the quarantine hotel.
Via everywhere else.
No, just directly from India.
No.
Anyway.
But these are the direct ones, and then you've got the indirect ones. But I tell you what, let's do it urgently, but let's do it at 4 a.m. on Friday. Why not sooner? I don't understand. But can I just say, the point I just made, this was picked up in California 6 to 7 weeks ago. So, okay, stop flights to India, but do we not already see that the Indian virus is possibly coming in from other places already? Mm-hmm. Already. So it's not even just about
so
India.
You can go to Dubai, you can sit in Dubai for 10 days, and then you can come here from India. So it's just you're not allowed to come. You have to have had 10 days.
Like Lee says, if only they approached the Indian variant with the same efficacy that they're attacking the bloody Football Super League. It's so annoying. I mean, they've literally got a meeting with Boris. They've got him. He's having a chat with them. There's 6 football clubs.
He's making statements about it. I want to hear him talking about the Indian variant.
Yeah. So anyway, football outrage is the big story now. So you feel it's too little, too late. I mean, the thing is, guys, we talked about this yesterday. I was sharing what John Campbell was saying,
which is they're doing it.
Which is that we have to remember that any of these variants don't land in our sort of community from a standing start like the first variant ever did. We have so many, vaccines. We have so many drugs. We can treat things. So it's not, we're never going to be left vulnerable in that same dramatic way that we were right at the beginning. But, it does frustrate me that we can't. But there's always a time lag. There's always such a time lag. It's just so frustrating.
And we, whether on social media, in conversations around the water cooler, here, everybody sees it way before the government seems to. And you know what makes me really cross is they just don't have the pulse on the nation. They don't. It's like, do you not know that these are the conversations that are going on with the people that voted you into government? You are actually answerable to us. Why haven't you know that these questions are going on? Why haven't you explained in detail? To simply get Sarah, what's her name, to say we're looking at the data. I mean, it's like John Campbell said, okay, well, let's wait for some more data. Yeah, let's wait for some more data. We've learned nothing over the past year. Let's just wait for data. It's so annoying.
Yeah, it's frustrating. And it does feel like football is... I mean, I've popped football outrage in the title there because everyone's talking about it. And under normal circumstances, it is a relatively... in sporting circles, just because we're not a sporty family, you've got to recognise that these things are important to some people. And for me, in some regards, there are two things I just want to say about the football thing. On the one hand, is it a number of clubs just wanting to get even richer and more rarefied and out of touch with their fans? The thing I get concerned about is that so much of the money that's in football that trickles up to just comes out of those few clubs does trickle down to lots of other clubs. And I think this move is potentially, a real red flag to, regional and national football across Europe and certainly across England and across Scotland. So I think it's a really bad development and a bad move. But as someone said yesterday, I think it was MeTube, football's always been about big business. It's always been about lots of money. It's always been so out of step with the kind of day-to-dayness of ordinary people. But I would always also say that that's been the case. That's like that in America with baseball and with American football and with basketball. You know, yeah, I mean, it's like the Hollywood of sport, isn't it? And you are looking up at these stars and you are looking up at this amazing stuff. So I do think it's out of touchness isn't just something to be criticised. You could say the same thing of Hollywood. But, you know, both things, sport and film, entertain different groups of people and sometimes the same people in different ways, don't they? But I do just think this, for me, it feels like a smack in the face of the ordinary fan for whom going to see a football match is an incredibly expensive thing anyway. You know, now the football teams that are doing this are suggesting that they're doing it because football is in crisis, COVID has destroyed it, you know, all this kind of stuff. I mean, obviously, where have football teams been getting their money from if they haven't got tickets being sold? You know, the smaller clubs.
And they have to keep paying all these football.
But these big clubs going off to do this, and I have to confess, Tottenham is one of them. They're not struggling because they get so much money from the TV rights and stuff like that. So I can see why it is important. It is an important thing, but it's not as important as the Indian variant. That's what I would like to say. That's what, in a long roundabout sort of way, I want to say it's not as important as the Indian variant. Boris, ditch your meeting with UEFA and the FA and talk about the flipping Indian variant.
Well, we have got. He's giving a press conference today at 5.
Right.
So.
Do you think they might be sort of speeding up their research on it and stuff like that? On the Indian variant so that they can give us some info.
Yeah.
It seems so frustrating.
They need to.
Yeah.
We put you where you are. Don't forget that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, get out of my pub.
We didn't, because we didn't vote for him, but...
Get out of my pub. It was a big moment yesterday. I popped something on our community tab. Let me have a look at the result, actually, on whether you thought it was right, the landlord was right to abuse... Keir Starmer in that
Can
way.
I say what I think?
Yes, please. Look, so hang on, let me just say, so out of 705 votes, 55% said yes, the pub landlord was right in his assessment and treatment of Keir Starmer, and 45% said no.
No,
Okay?
I absolutely don't. I think, but, okay, I can understand both sides here because the man has obviously been through an enormous amount of pressure.
Yeah.
He was really emotional.
Yeah.
He got taken away by his feelings. But he also became more and more erratic throughout.
I mean, dangerous.
And when you think about how MPs are putting up with daily threats of violence and murder, and you think of that poor, oh my God, her name escapes me now, that poor MP that was murdered. And so when people today are saying he shouldn't have said, I don't have to listen to you, he was frightened, and it's okay to be frightened. You know, I go out now and I'm nervous about the way people are. There's a febrile atmosphere out. And actually, I think that Keir Starmer, and I'm no fan of Keir Starmer, was woefully let down by his team. He shouldn't have been up that close with a man spraying into his face. Let's face it, if that man had COVID, Keir Starmer will have COVID now. I mean, he was this close, shouting into his face. The security, I think the security people themselves, they should have immediately dismissed him. And I think it's really unfair that people today are hammering Keir Starmer for saying, I don't have to listen to you. I think what he was saying is, I don't have to listen to you talking to me in this way. It's not okay.
Yeah, I mean, a number of people are saying, but it was his pub and he had the right to. I don't think Keir Starmer or his
Keir Starmer had no idea.
He had
that
no
was his
idea
pub.
that that was his
No.
pub, and I think that's why when he went in, he kind of was quite quickly ushered out. It's a really important point you make, though. I mean, you forget Keir Starmer's the leader of the opposition party in the United Kingdom. He's going to have a security arsenal or personnel around him there. That situation had already fallen out of their control quite rapidly, and I think there were 2 or 3 people in his group.
He wasn't safe.
He wasn't safe at that very point.
That man could have gone. We know who knew. Who imagine standing in front of that man.
He lost his
angry.
shit a bit too much.
I would have been really worried if I had. Yeah, Lee saying it's totally unacceptable behaviour. But I think it was. And the thing is, when the security guy held him, he thought he was running in to get Keir. He had no idea it was... There's no way Keir would have gone into that pub if he'd known that was the...
No.
And apparently the other guy who is the other landlord
has
since made an apology to Keir Starmer because he doesn't think...
Well, as Faith says, he invited Keir Starmer back into the pub without telling the angry bloke.
Did he?
Yeah, we did hear the phrase and get out of my pub. We actually heard it. Get
It's
out.
my name over the door. Get out of my pub. Get out of my pub. It's my name over.
It was very arresting, I have to say. It's not often you get things like that. All done for the cameras, Teresa Clark. I don't think so. I don't think it was. I think it ran out of control, because one of the most telling moments is when you hear the microphones turned off. You know, the camera guy and the sound recorders had obviously flicked off, and then they flick back on as they realise it's starting to ramp up again. So that was a big story yesterday, obviously. India, big story. I think it's going to rumble along. I mean, my hope and my feeling about it is that we're going to discover, yes, it's a bit more transmissible, a bit like the Kent variant. Yes, it's going to be, a bit more evasive of the vaccines, but not massively so, and could be solved with a little tweak. That's my hope.
Sharon says, I couldn't disagree more, Nadia. Keir had no business going into the pub, and his goons pushed that man on his own property. What's wrong with Keir actually listening? I actually think Keir would have completely would have listened if the man wasn't shouting in his face. He was really aggressive with him, and I genuinely believe there is no way he would have gone into that pub if he thought it was.
Oh no!
He was going in there.
He went in there as an escape from this guy on the street. He didn't realise he was going into the guy's pub.
We've all been in a bit of that situation where somebody a bit mad comes up to you and a bit like irrational comes up to you in the street. It's scary. Though I say I'm no fan of Keir Starmer, the way I read it, I think he was just scared, and I think that was human. But
hang on a minute. Why was Keir Starmer going into a pub when you have to be outside of pubs? You're not allowed to go into pubs.
Maybe he was going to the loo.
No. And why were more than 6 people crowding into that pub? I mean, he wasn't observing any of the regulations.
I think they were trying to get him out of the way.
Oh,
of
I see. Maybe they didn't even know it was an entrance into the pub. Eh?
Lee, we're living in a world where politicians can't even say anything to the public, as if the customer is always right and the public is the customer. He should have told him to do one and just shut up. It's good you've not gone into politics, Lee.
No, but I kind of know what you're kind of referring to in a way there, in that, it's like sometimes there are just real human situations, and just because they're politicians, I think we would all sometimes really relate to. I mean, we all were behind Boris at the point that he underwent the sort of, illness and everything. Do you know what I mean? Those humanising moments. I mean, yeah, Keir couldn't have said to him, sling your hook and fuck off. But I think, what could he have done? I think he did what he could have done, which was stay quiet and get he was looking for help, for sure.
Sandra said, would I say the same if it was Trump? If he was feeling threatened, if it looked to me like he was scared, which it looked to me Keir's was, then... Guys, hit the thumbs up underneath us just here, popping here. And if you can't see it at the moment, you can usually see it when the live's actually finished.
We're not buffering either. We can see our own ugly
might
mugs.
Be
your service the other end. Joe Cox.
Lots of people asking us to talk about Colin the Caterpillar.
Yeah, well, I thought we could talk about Colin the Caterpillar after another more serious subject.
Okay.
Because I could imagine coming from Colin the Caterpillar to this would be an awkward junction.
Okay.
So obviously the George Floyd jury are deliberating.
Oh, God, help us.
And, I mean, we touched upon this the other day, and America is literally culturally on a knife edge, I think, with this case. I think whichever way it goes, we're going to expect and see demonstrations and huge, either potentially demonstrations and protests of celebration, because they feel that there'll be a feeling that the right judgment has been delivered. But my bigger concern in many regards, I have a very strong opinion on this. I think he was killed, and I think as you rightly said, the prosecution summed up with a very simple summary, which was, don't disbelieve what you saw.
No, what you saw is what you saw.
Because
everybody is trying to convince them.
Yeah, and I think what Nadia said earlier is quite true, is what you're, and the defence they've been employed to defend Chauvin. But there's a distinct sense of gaslighting going on. And I do think, I think you're right, Xander, I think there are going to be
riots,
all sorts of riots either way, whatever happens. I think the most unsatisfactory outcome is going to be the potential that, and if one member of this jury does not budge from their position and toe the sort of jury line, a mistrial will happen.
Yeah.
And I think if a mistrial runs the risk of being as dangerous as now. It becomes a very complicated thing, this, because there was a Democratic representative or leader or community leader who said something like, if he's not found guilty, we will protest. And the judge felt he had to say something about this in his summing up right at the end. Because his worry was that if you say that regardless of what, if this is a guilty verdict, we're not a guilty verdict, we're going to protest. That in many regards allows Chauvin's defence, if it goes to a retrial, to potentially say that matters outside the court have muddied the waters about being able to give him a fair trial.
Right.
And so it wasn't, I know a lot of people are saying it's wrong that he was attacking a I think the judge was trying to find a way to say, look, if we, not God forbid he wouldn't say that, but if we don't reach a unanimous verdict, democratic representatives saying we will cause chaos and go mad if it's a not guilty verdict could scupper the chance of a retrial. So it's very complicated and emotions are running very high. And it's really key that everyone holds
I just don't see, the fact that one after another police officer has said that this is not in their training.
Yeah.
So if he had rigidly stuck to what the rules are to restrain, and he had died with drugs in his system and a swollen heart and all these other things that they're talking about, then yes, you could understand how you could defend it because he was doing his job and he was using reasonable restraint. But we've heard time and time again that that's not in their training. That's not what you're supposed to do.
No.
How can there be a question?
Absolutely. And I can see a lot of people saying, look, it's as plain as the nose on our faces what happened. It is to nearly every single person. It's as obvious as it is. And what they're trying to do, the prosecution, they're trying to get it absolutely seen for what it is so that legally they get it right. And it's really important that they get this right. He's being charged with...
Imagine
if
he gets away with this when the entire world has watched a lynching and that's what it was.
Yeah, I can say for sure that he's been charged with second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder and manslaughter. If he comes out with manslaughter...
Oh, he hasn't been charged with first degree.
If he comes out with manslaughter, it's gonna... That you may as well have said... There'll be the feeling that we've washed our hands of this situation. I think
second degree unintentional. Is that not like our manslaughter?
No,
what does
so
that
it's
mean?
different. He's been charged for 3. Second degree
what does that
unintentional. I don't
mean?
know. Third degree murder and
okay,
manslaughter. It's unintentional. It's kind of self-evident. It's not. He didn't go out with the intention to kill him.
No.
But second degree, it happened as a consequence of him not observing whatever.
But he
it was
listened to him 27 times there, can't we? And just didn't budge even like a centimetre off his neck.
Yeah, the man was...
It became intentional
but
murder
believe me,
at one point.
and when you look at some of the testimonies and witness statements, of course, the overbearing and inappropriate pressure and treatment of George Floyd went on, for sure. It's that nervous thing of when you watch it of thinking, let's just get it through. Let's just get it through. We know what we've seen. And I think it's what's the most sort of worrisome part of it all is that part of the defence was Chauvin wouldn't have done this because he knows that all police officers are filmed these days. Well, that's nonsense because so many people die on film.
Since Black Lives Matter, my eyes have been open to actually know what it means to be an African American in America. And I follow Sean King, and on every single day on his Instagram, I see things that I cannot believe that are filmed of police officers doing every single day. So I don't think that's a defense at all. I think they've got away with it for years.
This idea, and the idea that, because he was looking into camera in that very chilling way that we've all seen, in
the courtroom yesterday.
No, looking into camera in the way that he was when he had his knee on his neck. He was constantly, he was looking up and he was pointing. They're also saying that his body camera and his badge had fallen off in the fracas. We'll never be able to know quite whether it was taken off. We'll never quite know whether when he was looking up at the person who the other person was filming, that perhaps he wasn't expecting to be filmed because he was on the far side of a car where he wasn't next to the sidewalk.
Faith Goodman, I feel the same. It was frustrating that he wasn't cross-examined. But what does that say? That says that he'll be a useless witness because he's probably going to show himself again, like he already has to the world.
So the point is,
do we know? Do they know how long this could take? Could it take days and days?
It could, absolutely. Reese Roberts, you're literally treated subhuman existing while black. If you stand still, you get killed. If you walk into the shop, you get killed. If you fall asleep, you get killed. Every which way, you get killed. And, you know, it's Reese, you're right. And it's a fact that most young, as someone said the other day, when pulling over people with cars, the worst you're potentially worried about them doing is jumping a light, speeding, maybe having something untoward in the car, but you can trace them or track them very easily with it. You don't need to. Why do you need to keep pulling them always over with a gun?
Yeah.
You don't. There's a limited number of things that are going on in that car that you wouldn't be better served with you tracking the number and tracing it, albeit even if it's stolen. You know, maybe tracing it and calling up. I don't know. I just find that there are ways and means of shifting the way in which these things are done.
Now, I know in America, I don't know if there's any Americans watching this, that it's quite different to our procedure, isn't it? When you have a jury, the prosecution and the defence choose their jurors, don't they?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you think about the massive divide in America and the divide in thinking, are we not just going to have a complete division? I think did you say there were 6 white jurors, 4 black, and two mixed?
Yeah.
So is that? I mean, will the defence have chosen all the white jurors?
No,
is that how it
I
works?
think both the defence and the prosecution do profiling of potential jurors alongside
so they both
the judge.
have to agree on each
Everyone
one.
agrees on it.
Oh,
I think they all agree on it. Sam JP makes an important point. They can argue it was drugs all they like, but at no point did the officer try to administer any medical help when Floyd became unresponsive.
I didn't even like the way the ambulance people treated him.
Even if they
Just
say it's
moved him
drugs,
like
it's still neglect. Exactly.
Yeah.
But, Sam JP, you home in on why you can see why they might be pushing that narrative in order to head towards a lower, prosecution of manslaughter. Do you see what I mean?
Oh, Shelley, me too.
so-
Shelley, doesn't our heart go out to that young boy that reported him for the counterfeit note? Because in that shop, he would have had to pay for that because he took that counterfeit note. I just wanted to cuddle him up and go, listen, you did the right thing in the moment. And he must just feel so...
The policewoman who thought her gun was her taser.
Whilst training, and she was training another police officer.
Yeah, but hang on a minute. So we're told to trust the police, but the police can't tell the difference. And there's a huge weighted and physical difference between the two.
She must have been deranged.
Oh, I don't know.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Listen, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Please hit the thumbs up icon underneath me. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. And if you want to join our members area, there's a little box under here that you can click on, and that's where you get extra content. And if you join it, do tell us the next time you come on a live so we can sing our welcome song to you, because we do a little welcome song to everybody that joins the members area.
Yeah. Okay, guys, have a great day, and if you're out and about, enjoy the weather.
Yeah.